Whoop. Hello, and welcome to Coffee with Cohen. Today is Monday, June 15th, 2026. I'm broadcasting today live from my home in Hoboken. Welcome to this, my 119th Coffee with Cohen community event. Coffee with Cohen is my opportunity to keep in touch with you about important issues affecting our community. And today I'm very happy to be joined by a special guest, uh, the official Democratic nominee for Hudson County Commissioner, representing the 5th District of Hudson County. And 5th District of Hudson County includes all of Hoboken and a big chunk of Jersey City, Ron Bautista. Welcome, Ron. Of
Thank you for having me, Phil. Appreciate you
course.
taking the time so we can have a great conversation. And yes, it's all of Hoboken and the waterfront of downtown Jersey City,
What
near where Portside Towers is, by the Colgate sign.
That's an important part.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kevin Weller and everybody in Portside Towers. Ron, if it's okay, I'd like to share a little bit of background about you for the viewers of Coffee with Cohen. Ron is a community advocate who gets his inspiration from public service from his young daughters, Sophie and Aurora, and his 73-year-old mother, who, like Ron, live here in Hoboken. Ron was an undocumented immigrant for 11 years before he was able to get his green card. During those years, Ron and his family had to live in fear, without a voice, and feeling as if he had no rights in America because of his immigration status. Once Ron got his green card, he began speaking up, not just for himself, but also for his neighbors. I've worked with Ron on issues affecting affordable housing, transportation, and immigration. In particular, our efforts to oppose Hudson County's unholy contract with ICE to house asylees at the Hudson County Correctional Facility for revenues to fund the county budget during the first Trump administration, which the county that effort was successful. The county eventually ended its contract with ICE, although it never should have had one in the first place. And now we're in a whole different situation with the second Trump administration. So, with that, Ron, welcome to Coffee with Cohen, and let's go Knicks.
Yeah, let's go Knicks. Really excited that we got to celebrate. And then what you said was very important, which was the ICE contract that should have never happened with the
Yeah,
county jail back in 2020. I'm always happy that we were able to partner up and really push the county government in the right direction. And that was a renewal of the contract. So they renewed it twice.
yep.
And so twice we were opposing it. Um, but I'm happy that we have a county administration that, more and more is looking to see how we can, bring people together and come together with the immigrant advocates so that we can provide those solutions from the county government as well.
Yeah, and I guess we're going to have one of those advocates uh, actually as a commissioner, which is an exciting development, and we're going to talk about that today. I wanted to see if I could share something on my screen, but uh, having a technical issue with that, so I might just have to give up on that dream. But maybe hang on, I'll give it one more shot. Let's see if I can get it. Uh, yes. No, it did not work. All right. Well, I might have to give up on sharing pictures in this presentation. But enough of my problems. Folks may not know that you and I have something in common. We both have run for county commissioner against the incumbent Commissioner Anthony Romano. I ran in 2014 and you ran in 2020 and 2023. And as we said on election night, third time is the charm. So
Yes.
congratulations on your winning Democratic primary for Hudson County Commissioner. And I was wondering, I was with you celebrating on your victory party on June 2nd, and I was actually there with my daughter Madeline, who's worked on your campaign and did some door knocking on election week. And I know you were lucky to have Madeline on your team because she was a proven door knocker for me as well. So I guess my first question for you is, how does it feel since the big victory on June
And fe
2nd?
It feels great. We're really excited because we're able to really position what the role of county commissioner should be like, right? And so,
Right.
be able to talk to so many of the neighbors, knowing that they were receptive to the message, right? So, yeah, I'm a numbers guy too. So I'm looking into seeing what was the performance This time we ran unopposed. The current commissioner
Right.
decided not to run for re-election, decided to retire. And when we put together the votes that I got versus the votes that Romano and I got combined last time in 2023, we increased voters votes by 11%. And so
Wow.
that means and we took it seriously, right? Some people were saying, why are you going out there? Why are you not working if there's nobody running against you right now? And it's because we want to make sure that we are building a movement behind this election, behind this seat, that people know the platform, people know what we're standing for, that we are able to build that governance with the neighbors and with the advocates from now, not just until election day, not just until the general on November 3rd, but into office starting in January. So that was important. It was important to show that strength. And again, that is not about just me getting on the ballot or me getting into the office, but the great work that we can advocate for in the seat,
Yep.
to have a seat at the table where the budgets and where the projects, where the oversight should be happening, which is at the board of commissioners level.
Yep. Uh, so Hoboken has been represented by Commissioner Romano for, I think, almost 15 years. It could be more than that. Uh, but I'm wondering how you see your role as continuing the work and the service that Commissioner Romano has given our community. I mean, clearly he was a very visible and continues to be a very visible person. You see him at an extraordinary number of events and out there supporting a lot of not-for-profits and work in the community. And how do you see yourself offering different leadership when you start serving in 2027 if you're successful in November, as I hope that you are?
Yeah, so the strategy from the beginning was to do the work before we even get there. So we have been showing up in the community. We have been showing up in the events. There's actually a nonprofit that is close to my heart that does the work, which is the Waterfront Project, which actually started in Hoboken. They used to have
Mhm.
their offices at St. Peter's Paul's Church back in the day, and they provide legal representation to tenants, right? And so I'll be showing up there for yeah, there you go Knicks.
You know
Uh,
what? I was hoping to get this slide up sooner, so I'm sorry
it
to
worked.
interrupt on your waterfront project, but I really did want to show this picture to be at Madison
No,
Square Garden.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
sorry, Ron.
go Knicks, go
Go
Knicks.
Knicks. Yes.
But yeah, so like really providing that support on the ground, being able to show up to these events is going to be important.
Yep.
And then what I want to do is have that policy conversations and contributions with them, right? So having those conversations into what does it take to, really have full representation for tenants facing eviction in Hudson County. That's something different that we're going to bring it to the table, right? There was 11,000 eviction people facing eviction last year in Hudson County.
Yep.
And so those are people who potentially would go homeless, potentially are going to be in need of housing, are going to be pressuring the system that we have to, really take care of our neighbors, but also because it's just, besides being the right thing to do, is that it impacts us all when we're not really taking care of the issues at that intervention level, right? And so,
Mhm.
working closely with those partners so that we can make sure that the budget reflects those realities and those needs, to make sure that we have clear goals of how to get to that point. For example, with the street safety advocates as well, right? Projects like Willow Avenue, that the viaduct, all these county roads, which are our most dangerous roads, in not just in Hoboken but in the county. Being
Mhm.
able to be proactive and being able to really work closely with the engineers to make sure that they have the right tools, but also the right political support from the representative from Hoboken. But also, I'm not gonna stay only in my district, right? I'm gonna go to other districts, partner up with other commissioners, making sure that we are engaging it as a whole. I don't see myself only as, hey, I'm just gonna talk to the people who voted for me, because that's how the districts are divided in the county.
Right.
But it's about building those coalitions, because it's a board of 9 members, and we have it's looking really good that we're gonna have enough of the commissioner's support on many of the initiatives that we wanted to push forward. So that's going to be a big differentiator and that proactiveness to showcase that change and also showcase the work that the county does. A lot of our neighbors don't know what the county government does. And what I have told the county executive is, I want to be that partner that the great things that the county's doing, I want to showcase it. The things that we could be doing more of, I want to showcase it with them, right? And so it's really being that bridge builder between the commissioners, board of commissioners, and the county executive office to the neighbors at the ground level.
Great. I actually found another slide that I wanted to share. This is from election night. This is from your super volunteer and my super daughter, Madeline. So we were, yeah, that was a really happy night for us, and we're really excited for you, and I just wanted to share that photo with the group. So I want to just ask you a question, a substantive question about some of the things that I know that you're focused on. And I mentioned in my introduction that some of the things that you're interested in include transportation, affordable housing, and immigrants' rights, all important issues. And I know the immigrants' rights issue is deeply personal to you. And I'm wondering if you could discuss some of those priorities. So let's talk about transportation first. And I know that after you ran for mayor in 2017. I was the chair of Mayor Bala's transition team, and you were someone who Mayor Bala identified as someone who should be the chair of the transition team for transportation issues. And as the chair of the transition team, I was actually working with you and your committee on that stuff. So I know that's something you've been thinking about a long time as well. So maybe you could just talk a little bit about your thoughts about transportation issues.
Yeah, so for really, we are, the system that is in place has really failed all road users, right? And we are in a transition point, right? And we have seen those improvements, for example, with the hop in Hoboken, make sure that service is available for free. And like it crosses, we used to call it crosstown bus back in my time.
Right.
So those initiatives are great, and those are the initiatives that we need across the county. We'd love to explore that with them. Like, we have another Ecuadorian descent commissioner that's going to be there, Alex Valdez. That's something that he cares about. More
Yeah.
than happy to support Carney on that side of
Yeah.
things,
And
right?
by the way, while we appreciate the Knicks' success and glory in them, I just want to offer to you and Mr. Valdez my condolences about the World Cup game yesterday. I saw a lot of disappointed people on Washington Street with yellow jerseys when I was going for my bubble tea walk.
We
So
we
I
have
know I
two
know
we
the, I
have
know the
two more
tournament
games.
continues.
We
The
have two
tournament
more games. We can
continues.
we can we can make up for it. And
Yeah.
so yeah, no, and I was at the watch party that was on the waterfront. I'll be going to more of the watch parties that the city of Hoboken together with the governor's office have been able to really support fans, especially with the skyrocketing tickets
Yeah.
to watch those games live. But
It
going
was
back
a
to the
beautiful night to be out and watching.
Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes. And beautiful setup. So, and, in terms of transportation, we have bus rapid transit, right? So, the only way that we can make transportation better for people is to make sure that we are prioritizing mass transit that doesn't hit traffic, right? And so when buses hit traffic, people become frustrated. They're like, why do I even take the bus if I'm still gonna don't know when I'm gonna arrive in time?
right.
So there is an initiative that I've been talking about since 2017, which you were mentioning earlier, which is bus rapid transit, and this is something that can happen on JFK Boulevard. JFK Boulevard is a county road, it's a county managed road, and it can connect, all of Hudson County, right? And it's like most of Hudson County, right? So it's like it goes all the way to Bayonne. There is a bus, the 119 bus, that goes from Bayonne all the way and comes into 14th and Willow here in Hoboken, and then goes into New York City, right? And so we are connected as a county. If that bus, like we have examples like in other cities across the river that makes the bus as reliable as a really functioning train would be, right? You know when at what time it would be coming,
Right.
and in New York, actually, they were saying how like in 14th Street when they started the bus lanes. that the buses had to slow down a little bit because they were getting too early into their bus stops. And so, we want to be able to show people how much of an impact that can make on people's commutes. There's that. There's city bike. I'm a big city bike rider. I know that you are. I saw you riding your bike, the city bike, like a week ago or something like that. And I've been I've been a proponent of City Bike and that integration that happened between Hoboken and Jersey City once they became part of the same system. It was a huge difference, a huge impact. Because
Right.
every trip that happens between Hoboken and Jersey City with a city bike, that's one less Uber ride, right? And that was one less car stuck in traffic with you, if you need to drive. So we need to see things
I also
holistically,
think it
right?
it reduces your medical costs too, because instead of, you're moving your body, you're working,
Yeah.
there's so many good reasons and I also think it naturally leads to the need for infrastructure to support the thousands and thousands of rides. So I just think so much good is coming out, and I'm really happy we uh, in Jersey City and Hoboken have re-upped with Lyft for another 3-year contract, which we just approved a few months ago.
Yeah, and I would love to see how the county can, we are the county does manage county roads. How can we get more city bike stations in county roads, like in like JFK Boulevard, like I mentioned earlier?
Hmm.
Because,
Hmm.
if there are no stations there that you can't reach that area, and that is
Hmm.
such a low cost travel option, that is something that, relieves the, other systems or car dependencies. So it's something important that whoever is able to and needs to and wants to is able to take a city bike, and that is an affordable option for everyone. And you mentioned infrastructure, right? So making sure that pedestrian safety is number one in my issue list. For me, is people's lives is number one priority. And you have Patterson Plank Road, both at the bottom in Hoboken, all the way to the top by Congress and by going into Union City. Those are very dangerous roads. So would love to make sure that the engineers prioritize the safety of people. I've had great conversations with the county engineers. They've been very open and receptive. Like I said, many times it's the political will, not from the county executive who said that he
Hmm.
wants these initiatives, but from the commissioner side, like we are
Hmm.
representing specific areas. Having the backing of those commissioners is going to help the engineers actually perform their job. So I'm really looking forward to partnering up with them.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I think it's Manhattan Avenue, the one that goes over the
Mhm.
viaduct. That road, there is active discussions going on. There's active engineering going on with respect to fixing that roadway and creating a pedestrian uh,
The multi-use pathways.
multi-purpose, yeah,
Hmm.
multi-use pathway that's going to be a protected pathway, which I've seen those designs, and it was something that we were really pushing Tom DeGee's to do. And I have to say, I am impressed with what Craig Guy and his team is doing on that project and their commitment to following through on it. And I've been participating on the calls, and it's better to know that you're working with a county team that is share your goals,
Hmm.
as opposed to trying to convince them of your goals. And I have no doubt that you will be a strong advocate for this as a commissioner, which something frankly, I'm looking forward to that. Um, uh, Affordable housing. I know that that is also something that's deeply personal to you and also very important. I know how active you are with HUT and uh, what a core group of supporters they are for you and your campaign. They typically do not endorse candidates in elections, but they made an exception for you, which I think says a lot about you. And your shown commitment to those issues, which is demonstrated as a personal member who's put a lot of time and energy into that organization's work. But I suspect that your perspective is broader than that. So, I'm curious to know what you're thinking about your priorities for affordable housing.
Yeah, no, and shout out to you, Phil, for being a good partner and working with Hoboken United Tenants when it was the referendum. We had many conversations on the side and figuring out what the right approach was.
Yep.
And also, shout out to you for that senior building that's coming up in on Willow Avenue and 11th, right? That's something that is
Thanks.
important, and I want to make sure that we get more funding and more initiatives that way. So, again, this is something I've been speaking about since 2020, right? And so I'm glad that this is something that it's in the plans of the county. There is an affordable housing initiative. I've had conversations with Bill Matsakutis, who's driving this from the Hudson County Improvement Authority. They have the financial capacity to build more affordable housing. And I've also in those conversations, I've emphasized that we need for the most of those units to be affordable for people because they're going to be building county-owned land. And there's all of this county-owned land, though, for now, is in Jersey City near Journal Square area. I'm working with them to see how other opportunities happen, not just county-owned land, but publicly owned land, nonprofit owned land. How can the county be that partner
Yep.
to build more housing? We have the Hoboken Community Center. They house a certain number of people there as well. What can we do to support initiatives like that and expand those? Because we until we build more affordable units, we are going to have the issues when it comes to homelessness.
Yep.
And this the gap between or like how vulnerable people are between us that we pay rent. We're there's one issue away of somebody being vulnerable to be homeless, right? And
Yep.
so it's something that I've heard a lot from the neighbors that they're supportive of, that they know that that's something that will need to be part of the solution. And I mentioned how county government should really be tackling issues that are too large for just one city to take care of. And Hoboken has a lot of things that they're taking care of as a city, as a municipality, as the mayor, as a council member, right? So we want to make sure that we are bringing that integrative, that regional view of things and the regional support of issues like homelessness and like affordable housing. And I know that there's some partnerships that are happening in Jersey City because, if somebody becomes homeless in Kearney, they don't stay just in Kearney. It impacts Hoboken, it impacts Jersey City, it impacts Union City. So we want to make sure that we are taking care of as many people as possible, that we are moving this along. This is still an initiative that it hasn't been solidified. So again, like
Right.
I said in the campaign, I'm speaking about it now because it hasn't happened yet, and I want to be a
Right.
partner and a champion for things like this,
Yep.
and figure out other ways also to make sure we expand the funding and we maneuver
Yeah.
that even more.
Yeah, and certainly supporting Hoboken on its initiatives would be welcome from the county. And I mean, Craig Guy was at the groundbreaking along with Rob Menendez for the senior housing at 11th and Willow. And let me just say, I mean, it's one thing to talk the talk about affordable housing, but like that project, I live on 11th Street. I live a
Hmm.
block and a half from that. So I mean, it's like I truly believe in that. I mean, it's like to me, it's personal to me too, and it's something. I mean, not so that's why I just see a natural alliance here. But because Hoboken does do more and is I think more focused than most communities. I mean, Jersey City, I think in a lot of ways is catching up to Hoboken with respect to trying to support affordable housing. And I think it's good. Like, get on, join us, get on board. We've had inclusionary zoning for all 10% or more density variances require 10% affordable housing in every one of those units. I think Jersey City has done that now. But I mean, that was something that Hoboken had been doing for a long time. And we've been dealing with fair share housing on a lot of those issues in court. And, it's not that we don't get sued by fair share housing, but we typically come to settlements in a way that they reflect that, we're living up to our legal obligations and doing it in a way that's compliant with the law that we've written for that, which is important.
And just something to
Yeah,
add also to that, I think that there's opportunities regionally as well. It's hard for, just one city to work on
right.
a digitalizing records for rent control, for example, right? Being able to put that together. I believe, and that's something I'm going to look out for, is that the
Yep.
county can put that infrastructure, that technical infrastructure, to help out so that all the municipalities can
Yep.
tap into that information a lot quicker, a lot faster, so that way we make sure that tenants know their rights. They know that what
Yep.
the right rent price should be for the place that they live
Yep.
at, that they know that they're protected from, unconscious rent increase. So that's also something that might not be infrastructure that you see, but I think it's going to be important, the transparency that potentially
Yep.
the county could do. That's something that both on the housing side as well as in the budget side, I'm going to be focusing on.
Excellent. And then finally on immigration. What are your thoughts? I mean, we talked about our opposition to what was happening at Hudson County Correctional Facility, which is fortunately not happening now. Obviously, what's happening in Delaney Hall is not a Hudson County situation, but it is deeply, deeply troubling, and frankly, it's criminal. I think what's happening to in the name of uh, public safety. Uh, this is not making our community safer. This is tearing families apart, and this is not who we are. It's not. It's not representative of the community of the people who you're going to be elected to serve. And I know it's not consistent with your values in a deeply personal way. So I'm wondering what are your thoughts? Hoboken, by Mayor Bala, it was a fair and welcoming city. Uh, Mayor Jabour, when she was my council member, we codified that as part of our law. We will not cooperate with ICE absent a judicial warrant. We've tried to make Hoboken and frankly, and Hoboken has been sued by the Department of Justice for those policies, and alongside Jersey City, Patterson, and I believe Newark. I think so. We're all defendants in that ongoing litigation. So not only are we standing up for those values, but we're literally being sued in court by the Department of Justice over them. So, how do you see your role as a commissioner, as someone who, is, I guess, naturalized is the correct term for you,
Yes.
someone who came to this country, right, as an immigrant, is now a citizen, who's been through the process, who is now looking to be an elected representative of about 70,000 people in our community. So you're going to have a voice and a platform for this issue. What are your thoughts about that? And, what are your priorities on these issues?
I mean, we have an emergency, right? And really a constitutional crisis. And I think we have to meet that moment. And those are hard conversations to have. Like I've had those conversations with the county of, for me, if we are saying that we are not gonna, for example, allow ICE to walk around with a mask on, how do you enforce it? Right. And for us to be able to, for the commissioners on the side of the county, is being able to, lay out what that right approach would be of how they address it, work with the sheriff's department and say, when this happens, what is the local law enforcement going to do and how? Listen, I'm not the sheriff, but I want answers, right? And so that's going to be about, how do we enforce this law? Where what is going to be the right approach when what the right process when that happens. Us asking as a county commissioners, questions to the prosecutors, right, and saying, are you documenting right now the issues that are happening in Hudson County? Is there somebody designated for you to be able to prosecute when the time comes, or at the what is the plan from a prosecutorial side of things? Because the immunity is not just for them to do whatever they want. That badge doesn't allow them to just do whatever they want. If they're breaking state law, there are consequences. And we have to be able to, one, make sure that the county, yes, the county executive has had executive orders. Two, what is the county commissioners? How do we codify and put it into an ordinance? How do we make sure that we have oversight over the sheriffs and also looking into what the prosecutors are doing in order to make sure that we are keeping our residents safe, or that there are repercussions to when those laws are broken. So that has to be part of a holistic plan. And I did message the county executive and thank them for the increase in immigrant support funding at $1.3 million. I know that the advocates were asking for
That's
2
great.
million. The state also stepped up and they gave more funding as well. And it's been the 1.3 million is a combination of rental assistance as well as legal assistance because, you know, they released actually a fellow Ecuadorian from Delaney Hall about a month ago. And Kevin, he's a reporter. He was sharing his story, and he was saying like he was there for 4 months. Like he lost his home. Like right, he got evicted, and he was in Delaney Hall. So having that support system, so that once they get out, so one is the lawyers to get them out. Two is the support so that they're able to stay or in their homes. But three, how do we prevent these kind of things from happening? Not from immigration level, which we cannot intervene, but
Right.
from a
Right.
human rights and from a civil rights level, what can we do? How can we protect the rights of workers as well? That they are immigrant workers in Hoboken. I don't know if I mentioned to you this, the Aspen Market on Washington Street. The reason why it closed off is because a worker there approached me and there was and well actually a friend of mine approached them and then they were able to tell me that they were getting wage theft. And so they had wage theft for $62,000. That's what the state was able to determine, but it was because I sat down with the workers. I got to submit the complaint, provide the documentation, and then that's the part of the work that I want to do
So
is
they
be
they
able
were
to.
they weren't paying their employees. They
They
were
were
they
they
were
were paying they were paying them late. They were paying like 3 months late. Then they were saying that they were taking out taxes from their checks, but they were like,
right.
but they never asked me for a social. I have a tax ID number. I can provide this to them. And I was
Right.
like, well, if they don't have a tax ID number, they're not paying taxes. They're just paying you less money. And then they were
Wow.
like, so they were just breaking all these laws in order to make more money. And so all I did, and this is part of the work, is, provide the right information to the right authorities. I'm not doing it myself. And they were able to determine that that was the issue. And that's the reason why that market closed.
Were the employees able to get fairly compensated? Or, I mean, it's one thing to
That,
lose a market.
yeah.
It's another thing for the
Yeah.
employees to get paid for their work. I mean, do you know how that resolved? I've never heard this story.
Yeah, there's an article about it also, and I'll send it over to
Yeah.
you. But my understanding was that that was the process that the state was going through. I'm not sure how much money the workers actually got back, but because of the status of the workers, it remains a bit
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
of a private matter.
Okay. Well, I don't want to know too much, but
Yeah,
I'm just curious. But anyway, we have a comment from a viewer. Nadia asks, Ron, can you please change the commissioners' meeting back to 6:30 or 7?
I
So I don't know. Maybe it's in the afternoon right now, but
4:30. Yeah.
4:30. So there is a request. I know you're only one of nine people, but there you go.
That is in my priority list. I have started the conversations with some of the commissioners, so that would be if listen, if they do it before January 1st, good. I'm glad. But if not, that'll be first in order for me in January 1st.
Yeah, I mean, Hoboken City Council meets at 7 p.m. and certainly one of the reasons we meet at 7 p.m. is because people aren't working during that time, including the council people. So, I mean, if I would imagine if you have a job, that that's not exactly the most convenient time for you either. But obviously, I think the general public are the folks who are most interested in. I think. Thank you for your question, Nadia. Uh, Ron, that's all I have for you today. I generally go through a bunch of community updates next, which will start with my salutations for the New York Knicks. But I want to thank you for making the time to join us today. I wish you luck with the election coming up in November, and congratulations again for your victory on June 2nd. Best of luck to you, Ron.
Thank you. Looking forward to working with you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yep. See you, Ron. So let us go to the news of the moment. There it is. New York Knicks champions. Uh, I have been a long-suffering Knicks fan, but I gotta tell you, I didn't see this coming. This playoffs run has been unbelievable, just unbelievable. I like we have Jalen Brunson in the center here with the starting five in the front row and all the wonderful, I guess Mike Brown called them the dogs that come off the bench who have been incredible. And there's Coach Mike Brown in the top right. This is the one Knick Sixers game I got a ticket for on the same day where they blew out the Sixers 137-98 in the first game in the second round. And we happy to do that. And there you go. So anyway, congratulations to the Knickerbockers. I'm planning on attending that parade down the Canyon of Heroes Thursday morning. Starts at 10 a.m. I know people are excited about the World Cup, and the World Cup is exciting, but for Knicks fans, this is a very, very exciting thing. So I'm really happy for them. Uh, Wanted to talk a little bit about the 2026 municipal budget, which was passed 6-3 last week. I was one of the three no votes. Uh, it, it we're talking about a 12% municipal tax increase. Uh, it's something that took a lot of work. Mayor Jabor and her administration originally went public in February with the difficult news that the city was facing a 24.5% structural deficit that she had inherited from the prior administration. It was something that she worked on to try before submitting a budget to the council to approve. Uh, got it down to, I believe, 18.9%, including a hiring freeze, which she implemented, and did other things to try and really cut things down to the bone. Uh, one of the reasons why, and one of the reasons why this is an expensive year is because a lot of things that we've been investing in as a city that I voted for, frankly, proudly, are things like having a resilient city, having resiliency parks, expanding our recreation opportunities, developing our public waterfront, hiring more police officers, implementing flood mitigation to make our community safer and more resilient. These are critical things that are going to make our community better for generations and generations. But we have to pay for those bonds. We have to pay for the debt service that's associated with those things. So I'm fully in support of having enough money in the budget to cover our obligations. But my concern with the budget as it was presented was that it had overly optimistic revenue assumptions. And it was assuming a lot of best case scenario situations. I described it in one of the council meetings as forecasting based on predicting nothing but sunshine and roses, which we know is not the way that things go. And we've seen what the numbers look like in the first quarter. And by assuming that things were going to be, we're going to be killing it on revenues in every way is unlikely to come to pass. And in some years, that's not really a big deal to be overly aggressive when it comes to revenue projections. But this year was not an ordinary year. In February, Standard & Poor's, the rating agency for the city of Hoboken, placed the city on the negative ratings watch. And if the revenues don't pan out, Hoboken's going to have to spend even more than it should. Uh, and frankly, we're already overextended in this budget and dipping into our surplus funds to finance operating revenues, which risks, because we're on a negative ratings watch, a bond rating downgrade. And that it's going to have significant negative impacts for the city's finances for years and years. And frankly, I do not want to leave the city in a worse situation than having an AA plus bond rating, which we have right now. Some of my council colleagues talked about the need to have massive employee layoffs or to have to cut our directors' pay. Cutting directors' pay is a drop in the bucket in terms of the municipal budget. Uh, Number one, so I don't think that makes sense. Number two, we want to attract talent to run our city government, which is super important because there's a lot of stuff going on. We've got to manage all of our community employees, and that's very important. But also, the city council was presented during the budget hearing process, which started early this year, much earlier than in prior years, that while the city's grown over 20% since the 2010-2020 census was taken. City Hall staffing has actually been reduced. So they're doing more with less, which is great. But we need to continue to focus on efficiently delivering municipal services with the lean budget that exists, subject to the hiring freeze that's in place. Our residents expect excellent services. They deserve excellent services. So do our businesses. So do the people who come to visit our community. So, you know, it's important that our municipal employees are supported and that they are able to deliver the services that are expected, whether it be trash removal, paving the roads, maintaining our parks, maintaining our open spaces, making our business district an inviting one for people to come and enjoy our restaurants and everything else. All that needs to be done. But there are opportunities for savings. And one of the important areas for opportunities for savings concerns our public unions. The city council unanimously passed a resolution that I introduced, calling on the public unions to come back to the bargaining table and renegotiate the contracts that had been approved during the Bala administration, that was negotiated by the Bala administration. I appreciate that my council colleagues unanimously voted to call for them to come back to the table, and I'm really looking forward to them working with the administration to see what they can do to make adjustments to their health plans and other things, to see if there are ways where we can save their jobs and also save the taxpayers money. So I hope and expect that our public unions are going to answer the call and help. I'm also very interested in identifying new sources of revenues. Those include things like uh, sponsorship possibilities, having delivery robots deliver meals, which will have fewer delivery bikes on the road. It works in other communities. We're looking at a pilot for that, and many other possible sources of revenue. We're looking at possibilities of monetizing panels on the sides of bus stops that we've done in prior years, try and get a program like that up and running. And I was looking at emails about that just today. But at the end of the day, when we look at the budget that was presented, the amendment that was voted on and passed 6-3 on Thursday evening, I believe that a responsible budget requires the city's recurring revenues to cover the city's recurring expenses. And I'll say it again. I believe that a responsible budget requires the city's recurring revenues to cover the city's recurring expenses. Robbing Peter to pay Paul is not a good way to budget for our city. I concluded that the budget amendment presented to the council fails to meet that test, and I refuse to support it. So that's it on the budget. I'm disappointed with where we landed. I want to break the cycle of double-digit tax increases for our municipality, and I fear that next June we're going to be right back in the same place we are now. Instead of talking about how much money it takes to run the city and to tax for that amount, we're going to be talking about how much money we need to save by cutting critical services because we can't balance the budget because of a lack of political will to do proper budgeting. So it's disappointing that's where we are, uh, but I wanted to let people know that's where I landed and why. Ron Bautista mentioned the World Cup celebrations and big match block parties that are going on. They're going to be continuing through July 19th at the final FIFA uh, final match will be played at MetLife Stadium, uh, just a few miles from here. And we're going to be celebrating the 2026 with a series of big match block parties hosted by the city and Hoboken Business Alliance. These are family-friendly events that will rotate through 6 neighborhood fan zones featuring live match screenings, interactive soccer activities, outdoor dining, local retailers, entertainment, and community programming. The festivities will take place across Hoboken's neighborhoods on select match days. And I'm going to have a link in the comments to this live stream where you can learn more information about that. And speaking of summer fun, Department of Cultural Affairs has an exciting lineup for free community events for residents of all ages. The popular Movies Under the Star series returns with outdoor screenings throughout June and July. including, well, June 24th, the Birdcage is on Pride Night, and there's a whole bunch more. There's also Dance Fest 2026. Professional and local performers will be at Resilient City Park on June 30th, July 7th, and July 14th. Presented in partnership with Dance New Jersey. These are free performances that showcase a variety of dance styles in an outdoor setting. And music lovers can always enjoy the popular Sinatra Summer Concert Series at the Sinatra Park Amphitheater. Performances continue throughout June and July. We've got salsa, R&B, jazz, soul, and local artists. The concerts will be held on Thursday evenings from 7 to 9. You can bring a chair, you can bring a blanket, or you can just sit in the amphitheater concrete steps. If you'd like a schedule to see all of these great summer events and activities, I'm going to have a link in my comments field. And with that, we come to the end of my 119th Coffee with Cohen event. Go Knicks, congratulations. Can't wait for the parade Thursday morning. Just I don't think I've ever been to a Canyon of Heroes parade, so I think this will be my first. So I'm very excited about that. I was celebrating the Mets in 1986. Those are I love the Mets. Uh, but but I did not go to the parade. I think I was in law school then. Anyway, uh, enough about me. Thank you, Ron Bautista, for making the time to join us today. I really enjoyed learning about your thoughts, and I hope that the viewers of Coffee with Cohen got to learn a little bit more about Ron. Uh, and I'm going to have a link to Ron's website, which includes a way that you can contact him if you have any questions or any follow-up. Or of course, you can send your questions to me at hobokenphil@gmail. So with that, that brings us to the end of my 119th Coffee with Cohen event. Stay tuned. You'll learn more about my 120th event, which is kind of a milestone. Looking forward to that one. Wish everyone to stay cool and congratulations again to the New York Knicks. Everybody.